been following some of your stuff online and obviously read the book and all that. So, it's fantastic. So, really, really excited to get you on. So,
yeah, absolutely. And you're in Ireland.
no, Scotland.
Okay,
Scotland.
gotcha. Very
Nice.
cool. Very cool.
You can't understand me, can you?
Oh, I could understand you. Yeah.
So where are you guys at the moment?
So Chris is in Los Angeles, and then I'm over here in Northern California, more towards San Francisco.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. And I bet you the weather's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really nice out. Yeah.
I hate you guys already. It's absolutely
How,
down over here. So
how's the weather over there?
it's been raining all day.
Ah,
Non-stop. But this is Scotland. This is our sunshine. So
yeah. Well, you got to come out to California sometime.
I've been.
Nice. Okay.
I'm a massive Chargers fan. So
Ah,
Oh, nice. Okay.
49ers.
I went to Candlestick.
Okay.
Back in the day, I went 49ers versus the Saints on Monday Night Football. So that was amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That Candlestick was an awesome stadium compared to the new one, you know?
yeah. Is the new one? What's the new one like?
Yeah, it's nice. It's big, but it's just nothing beats like the old architecture and just kind of like, you know, like the Candlestick feeling, you know, there's so much history there.
Yeah, the atmosphere in that was amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely it's on my to-do list to get back. So
Yeah. Well, let us know if you ever come.
oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's get out to business then. So Chris, all right?
Guess he went to close the door or something.
Yeah. Time to close the door.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
So yeah, obviously it's great having you guys on, and I think one of the reasons you guys will be so good is our gyms at the moment are shut until the 14th of September with everything going on. So obviously online training has really kind of boomed through this period, and obviously with your new book and stuff, you're very big on that kind of hybrid model. So I know a lot of my trainers that I work with and know and stuff like that are kind of verging into it, but they're not 100% sure about it. And same with the general public. So I just thought you guys will be amazing for kind of really delivering the value of it and stuff like that. So I thought I'd just start off with just you guys giving a wee background about who you are and letting everybody know. So whoever wants to take the lead.
Sure.
Okay. Gotcha. So we're recording.
Yeah. I just thought I'll tell straight away.
I like it. I like it. Well, first and foremost, Steve, thanks for having us on. It's a real honor, and we're here to just deliver value. So I can't wait to just kick this off, and more importantly, just get some light bulb moments going and expand, other personal trainers' mindsets with all the possibilities. But to give you some context on who we are, obviously, if you see the screen, we're two identical twins with humongous eyebrows. So that's always been an issue in our life. But other than that, I like taking the listeners through our story. So 18 years ago, our father passed away in a car accident. He fell asleep behind the wheel. So we were 17 years old. We were seniors in high school, and it was 3 days before Christmas. And we grew up in a really picture perfect life with everything. And literally, like, our whole world was just turned around upside down in a blink of an eye, just in one night. And he was a correctional officer at San Quentin State Prison. So he grew up very, very just like, tough on us with a lot of discipline, education. So it was great. But like I said, 3 days before Christmas, we got a knock on the door from a highway patrol officer and a chaplain. So that's not a good combination at 3 a.m. So right then and there, I remember I saw my mom just fall to her knees screaming just bloody murder. And, I thought I was in a nightmare, but I wasn't. So I, just had to, realize that was the reality of it. And then 3 months later, my mom's mom passed away due to cancer. So our family took a big, big hit, within that little span. And we all kind of went down our own dark paths, like Chris and I, my older brother, and my family. So we were all very broken. So, Chris and I just kind of like were very angry. We lost our mentor. We were kids. So, we did a lot of dumb things that we, regret now, but it's turned us into the people we are now. So I always tell people, turn your messes into your messages. So, for anyone that's going through any tragic moment, just understand that, if we got through it, you can get through it as well too. But really what changed our whole life was just getting into the gym and just alleviating that pain, that grief, just the stress through weight training and just seeing body compositional changes. And then we got very fascinated behind, nutrition, physiology, exercise science. And we hired our first mentor, Dr. Lane Norton. So we were under him for about 5 years. Then we went to hire Eric Helms of 3DMJ and Dr. Joe Klemczewski. So we're very blessed to have these amazing pioneer mentors teach us all these crafts. And then that's when Chris and I were just like, you know what, there's two of us. I see this online thing exploding in the next 10 years. So we started our business, Dynamic Duo Training, and served over thousands of people just worldwide with like customized exercise nutrition programs, scaled that to 6 figures for many, many years. And the last 3 years, we just pivoted to helping fitness professionals create more income, impact, influence, and independence through online and in-person coaching as well. So that's where we're at now.
Oh, it's amazing. And you've already dropped some massive names in the industry there. So just shows you kind of the pedigree you're at. And we're going to come on to your book. But what I quite liked about your book, I mean, obviously that's unbelievable hardship that your family had to go through and stuff. But what you spoke about is how you stepped up and you really wanted to like lead to family and stuff like that, because a lot of the time people kind of go into a victim mentality and it's very difficult to get out.
Oh, yeah.
It was difficult times. You said like, we had to step up, and I love that because there's 2 ways you can kind of go. So
yep, absolutely.
To overcome that and to be open with people as well. That's obviously helped people relate to you and stuff like that you've came from a lot of hardships as well, if I'm right. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's either you play the victim role or you just keep prevailing and just pushing forward. Yeah,
definitely, 100%. And you obviously said fitness played a massive part in your life and stuff like that. So was it mainly kind of round about that age that you started getting into fitness, or what was it? Did you come from like a sports background, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not many people ask us that, but we were pretty much raised playing soccer, for I would say about a good 6 years. And then we played basketball, for 4th grade all the way till like senior year. So about 8 years too, so that's kind of where we came with that background of soccer and basketball. And then we started just kind of messing around in the weight room, like around like senior year, and when we graduated, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were just being punks in there trying to look for girls and trying to get some muscles on our bodies,
You sound exactly like I was as well. And where we are in Scotland, it's like we're football, not soccer, but it's football or nothing. Like there was nothing else you'd done. There was no really any other sports or anything. It was all football. And like you say, I hit the gym at probably about 17, 18, and probably for about 4 or 5 years, I trained chest and arms and nothing else, and didn't have a clue what I was doing. But you learn from it and you kind of grow from it and stuff like that. So, so have you always worked together, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've like lived pretty much together our whole life. We just got caught thrown with a curveball when this pandemic hit. So I just came back here to, where our family lives, and just to kind of figure things out because LA is a little bit crazy right now. But for the most part, I mean, we've lived together our whole life and just been, business partners, same interests. But it's funny because we're very different people in our own aspects. Like Chris is more type A and just always just kind of like stressed out, just like, let's get this done now. And I'm more just kind of like just chill, relax. We're like, we're going to get it done. Don't worry. But it's a good balance.
Yeah, that would definitely help. I think young and probably having that business partners really helped you as well, kind of bounce off each other and bounce ideas and stuff like that. So obviously you've got this new book out now, which is Rise of the FitPro. Which, as I say, I listened to the audio version over the last week and stuff like that, and it's great, and I love like the kind of ends of it where you put the chapters into action, that people have to say what they're going to do and put it into action. So for those that haven't read the book yet, can you just give them a quick overview of what the book's really about and stuff?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, Steve, thank you so much for listening to the audiobook, and, we wrote our first book, The New Era of Fitness, 3 years ago. And that's when we were kind of like really into, health and fitness, like coaching. So this second book, we're just like, man, like we got to do something towards helping the fitness professional out. And we wanted to kind of specifically target towards somebody doing a hybrid model approach. So it could be for somebody that is a personal trainer. It can be for a yoga instructor. It could be from like a nutrition consultant, right? Anybody that has like in-person consulting, but wants to add an online, component to it, because that's what we've noticed, Steve, is a lot of people are fearful to go 100% all in on online training, and rightfully so. It's hard to scale it. It's hard to sustain it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to your audience and say that it's an easy thing to do like other people. It's not. So it's a safer, easier route to kind of go with like building the online component first, having those 2 revenue streams, and then if you want to make that choice to scale it all online, by all means do it. But at least you have a platform to do that with. So that's what this book is for. Anybody that's a fitness professional that wants to create more income, influence, impact, and independence with adding an online component with it. And it's very tactical. That's what we want to do. We've read so many books, and a lot of books have fluff in there and stories and nothing really practical. But we're like, man, we're going to give it all to like these people that pick up this book and give you some really tactical information to where it's like you literally can build this online thing and you can literally make an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month right away.
Yeah, and I think really quick to add to that, I mean, like the biggest vision we had was how do we sit down and break down all these different belief barriers that a lot of personal trainers have, that we have as, people, and in our own beliefs as entrepreneurs, right? So whether it's upbringing, education, money mindset, scarcity, to where how do we really, put this book out here and break down all these belief barriers to where people have a guide and stepping stones on what they can do to take action and just really just believe in this model of in-person and online, and really create impact, influence, and independence in their fitness coaching businesses.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what's good about it is it does break it down step by step, because a lot of the time I think trainers, they get a wee bit overwhelmed with, I need to do this, and this, and I need to do this, and this. And it's like, well, hang on, let's just focus on one step at a time. Build. Because where I am, I'm a manager of a commercial gym. Over here, one of the kind of chain gyms. So obviously I've got a team of 12 trainers in the gym, and when the pandemic hit and the gym shut, a lot of them were scrambling, not 100% sure where to go and stuff like that, and they were kind of stepping into the online world but weren't sure where to go. So it's good to just give them that platform that goes, you've still got your hybrid, you can still do your face-to-face training that you want to do, but there's, like you say, there's that additional avenue you can go down and stuff like that. So when you look at kind of online training and stuff like that, where do you see people going wrong often when you look at trainers specifically?
Yeah.
Go for it, Chris, on that.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So that's a great question, Steve. I see a lot of like misconceptions, especially right now, like the pandemic hit. I commend these fitness professionals for taking action and pivoting and doing what they have to do, right? So a lot of them pivoted and started doing online Zoom training. And they think that that's online training, but it's not truly online like coaching. You know what I mean? Because you fall into the same broken model of in person, to where it's like you only have so much time. You can only train so much people like in a day or in a week, right? So it's not a scalable model. So if you sit there and think that you're going online training and doing Zoom sessions like that, like sure, you might get some freedom because you don't have to do that split shift. You can work from home. There's convenience there, right? But it's still a broken model that you're not going to be able to scale. So I see that's where a lot of people are going wrong. They're saying like, oh, I'm doing online training now. And it's like, well, I guess you kind of are, but you're really not though, because it's a broken model and it's not really a good scalable coaching model that's going to take you further and really create that income and that time freedom that you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to throw in, I completely agree with Chris, but I also see where people are making mistakes is just not understanding how to market themselves, right? On social media, all over the web. And it's a huge issue. And that's why in our programs, the Dynamic FitPro's VIP program that we have a level 1 program and a level 2 program. And everything is about being a fitness marketer first, coach second. And a lot of people don't like hearing that. I understand. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting eyeballs on you and sitting there and speaking the language and the messaging to your ideal audience and customers to be the solution to the problem. Otherwise, we could sit there and all say, oh, we're personal trainers, we're specialists in this, but it's like, who do you think's going to win at the end of the day? The trainer A that is a very good marketer and knows how to drive traffic his way and get people into his funnel, his ecosystems, email lists, or trainer B that has no clue how to do that, right? So trainer B might be a better coach, but trainer A that knows how to market and get himself out there, he's going to win all day long. So I just think that marketing is such a huge, huge thing that fitness professionals do not understand right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great point there, I think. And it really does hit home, because I think finding your niche in that online it's so much more important than in person. Like, people don't really understand it. When they're in person, their personality comes across a lot more than when they're online. So it's a lot easier to maybe be a bit open to who you're training. But when you're online, you're just a personal trainer until you start marking yourself right as to you're the guy or you're the girl that helps this person and that person. And I do think when people get clearer on that, things funnel a lot easier, I think. So
yeah, absolutely. And it even goes like a little step further to where, like, really understanding how to message, with your marketing. And like I said, speak the pain points and language to your ideal audience. So for example, we have an 8-step framework that we take all of our, Fit Pros through. And this is how we really identify, who you want to work with, what's your specialty, and what's your niche. And, if you understand, how to sit there and market that and speak the language to these people, then you're going to be more successful. Because what I see a lot of people doing wrong as well too is, like, they'll get Instagram, they'll get Facebook, whatever. And like on their bios, it just says like, oh, I'm a CPT, like I'm a certified personal trainer, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like accreditation and certification after another, which I'm not saying that's horrible to do, but again, it's not speaking to anybody. It's so broad to where you're speaking that message just to so many different people, to where it's like, you have to hone in and be very, very specific as to who you are, who you want to work with, and how you get people out of pain.
Yeah. And I think the last thing, Steve, I could say that people are doing wrong too is like the fear of selling, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, especially like fitness professionals, I don't know where it comes from, like an upbringing or just like, a self-limiting belief, but they're afraid to sell their services. And that's what we kind of do with our programs is we actually rewire their like mindset around that, to where it's like, this isn't transactional, it's transformational what you're doing, right? What you're doing is selling at the highest level, right? Because you guys are serving. Right. So you're serving at the end of the day, which leads to transformation. So don't look at it as like it's this transaction, like it's like a negative thing. Right. And I always say that being a fitness professional is almost better than being a doctor, because you're instilling hope, confidence, you're transforming their body, which has a ripple effect to everything else they do in life. So don't sit there and be afraid to sit there and sell your services at a high premium. Why do doctors, like, quote unquote, get paid so much? Like, why can't the fitness professional get paid like a lot of money? That's what I get upset at. And that's what we stand by in this program is like, you're going to sell a high ticket package because you're worth it. You're making that transformation to this person's life.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of the time, a fitness professional is proactive to people's solutions, as opposed to like a doctor who's reactive to a lot of solutions and stuff like that. So like you say, that you shouldn't be ashamed to have a price on changing somebody's life like that. And You're right, I've seen a lot of trainers that they've sold themselves short, but they've not got the confidence to go up and sell their products and stuff like that. And it's a shame, because they can deliver a great message. And what Eric was saying there as well, I think's valuable, because I saw your post the other day about qualifications, and you only have to look at, like, my wife Karen's a business development, my 35-year-old business development. She couldn't care less, like, if I've got a kettlebell qualification and a TRX qualification and all these long list of things. She wants to know how I can help her problem.
Exactly.
I think when people focus more on that and actually the serving of people, I think they will help people a lot more. So one of the other things I think trainers have fear of is the accountability of their clients online. So can you maybe talk to people how they can keep clients accountable as an online client as opposed to an in-person kind of client?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good one too. We did a Facebook Live on this the other day, and this is more about like just creating a massive customer experience. So we have a 10-step online model, that we do step by step on how your business model online should be, right? And that's just through a lot of different parts. But I think it's step 5, and it talks about customer experience. This is how you're going to really win people over. And what that really means is, being accessible to your clients, right? I mean, we have these amazing iPhones, phones, iPads. We have, all this technology to where there's no excuse, you being the trainer, even if you're in a different country, to where you can't sit there and be accessible, to where your clients can't reach out to you with a text, a WhatsApp message, Facebook, Instagram, DM, whatever. That's how you sit there and build the accountability, and that's how you're going to win them over and, retain them as lifetime valued customers. And then that's going to snowball effect and have them, give you referrals, testimonials for social proof, to where your marketing is going to be very easy because you work with so many people. They said so many great things about you, but it's just about just showing up, and just, having these like little groups of, with people, just giving them daily reminders, doing like videos outside the box, like just go the extra mile for these clients to make it feel you're right by their side.
Yeah. And some tactical stuff, like Steve, for like the listeners, what they can do is, it all depends on their online coaching model, but they could do something to where it's like they're doing once a month, like these type of Skype calls like this for like 30 minutes. They can build it in a way where it's like 15 minutes every single like week. It can be bi-monthly, whatever it is. Right. But there's no excuse to not sit there and have a video update like this. And that's how you charge the higher ticket premiums, is having something like this, because nobody's going to pay you a premium if you're just sitting there hiding behind a keyboard. Right. So there's something you can do with like Zoom and Skype and all that stuff. The second thing is having like a Facebook group that replaces kind of like a community feel, and you just have to be active and you have to be a leader in there if you're the coach, so you have to introduce people, you have to shout people out, you got to give tips. And then another cool one that we did a lot was a WhatsApp group for all of our clients. So if you have like 10 online clients, build a WhatsApp group, and this way you can do audio messages, you can do little video messages, they can ask questions really quick. So those are all ways to kind of like really kind of replace like, some of that in-person feeling online.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people underestimate that as well, as people want to feel part of something as well, don't they? So when you put them into these kind of groups and these communities, then it's just added extra value that you're delivering to those people, that they want to be part of it. And then when people look in, they want to be part of it as well. So like you say, I think in a way, it's people kind of, or trainers will actually make people more accountable when they're kind of online, once they actually learn to deliver those kind of things that you've said there. So I think it definitely valuable information. So we'll look at the kind of industry as a whole now. Obviously, you guys are across the water and slightly different, but what's the kind of some of the good things you see in the industry right now?
Yeah, some of the good stuff. I mean, I see like a lot of people are like more open to online now, like, and that came with basically the pandemic, which is called like force adaptation of technology, basically, right? When you think about it, people didn't want to sit there and like do online training. Some trainers didn't even want to do online training. Same thing with the consumer, right? So it's almost like if you go back like into the model of like Blockbuster days, right? So the reason why, they went out of business because they didn't want to sit there and adapt to what was going on, right? And look what happened with like Netflix. They pretty much took them out of business, right? So that's the thing. A lot of people will be like, oh, you know what? I love going into like a Blockbuster. Like I love picking out my movie, but then at the end of the day, people like convenience too. They like being in their own home, being able to pick one out on, a streaming device, right? So it's forced adaptation of technology, and it just comes out of convenience, man. So that's some of the best stuff I'm seeing right now, is just people are just kind of learning like, hey, this online stuff. I can actually do it from home. I don't have to go to a gym. I don't have to do X, Y, Z. I don't have to sit in traffic to get to the gym. I don't have to be around a ton of people. And then for the trainer, it's a new thing for them to be like, okay, I have to do this, because if I don't have an online component, I'm probably going to be out of business, because if this pandemic happens again, what are you going to do? Shut down again? And then what? What's your solution after that? You have to have an online component. So that's some of the good things that I'm seeing like right now in the industry.
Yeah. And then really quick, if I could just add in, Steve, what I see is like, this is what I keep telling my Fit Pros, is that this is the best time. It's a better time than ever to sit there and serve your clients, because health has like just gone to this absolutely like monstrous tier because of all this virus stuff, just your immune systems, to where everybody is like, okay, my health is my wealth. Without everything else, I cannot do anything. So now like the demand for health is going to be even higher, right? So now it's about just the supply, right? The supply and demand of it. So, how are you going to sit there and again, get yourself out there? Is there enough trainers to do this? And are they doing this correctly, via online, in person? Are they creating their models the right way, their check-ins, all that stuff? So I just see it being a really thriving time for fitness professionals to sit there and demonstrate their amazing skill sets and transform lives. And it's a better time than ever. They just have to sit there and believe in their own mind that this is the time right now, and they have to just take action.
Yeah, definitely. And I think again, it's it is opening up the public's eyes, like you say, innit? That they now understand that it doesn't have to just be in the gym meeting a trainer. Yep. They can get their workouts from home. They can, get in the park, wherever it is. But there's so many different avenues, and like you say, it opens up their eyes now that when it goes back to what we were saying before about marketing, they can now find people that they feel they can really relate to, as opposed to just going to the gym and finding the first trainer they see. They can now find somebody that knows what it's like to be a parent or to be a busy businessman or, whatever it is, and really mesh with them and then get the best results possible. So, like you say, it's just opened up a whole new ball game.
Exactly.
Now, the difficult one, what do you not like in industry right now?
Not like in the industry. I'm going to go a little bit different with this, and Chris might have something different, but I still see a lot of people just being closed-minded. And I'll start first with the consumer, right? With health, to where people, they still don't see the value in like the online and in-person training, especially with just like health. Again, with health being at the forefront, they don't see that value. And everybody needs accountability at the end of the day. Like I need accountability, whether it's through my business, through health and fitness coaching. I just need it. I need to have someone just to check in with, to hold me accountable. It's just part of our psychology as people. So first, I don't see the consumer still seeing like the entire value in it, but I think it will get there. It's going to take a little time. And then I get frustrated by personal trainers not wanting to, invest in themselves and having such a scarce mindset and not wanting accountability from mentors, business coaches, right? They all want to sit there and get to the next level. They want to create more wealth, right? But they want a better lifestyle, but they're not willing to sacrifice for it. And they're not willing to spend money to make money and learn different skill sets, break down limiting beliefs, and acquire even more skills and systems for their business that's going to better them going forward in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. So that's where I kind of get frustrated, because I'm just like, I was there, I was there at first when I first started this. I was very stubborn. I had ego where I felt like I could do everything. Like Chris felt like that too, but you can't. We all have blind spots, and we need those outside eyes to see what we're doing wrong and guide us in the right direction. So it wasn't until Chris and I sat there and just like, we're like, look, we're going to invest $25,000 into a mastermind with elite level business coaches to see all the mistakes they made, just sharpen our tools. And how do we sit there and teach this to our students? So to me, I'm just telling you, just like investing in yourself, mentors, accountability, we all need it.
Yeah. And I would say for me, Steve, it's just, just a lot of fitness professionals, like just making excuses of not wanting to show up and be leaders, and so an example of that is just like content creation, right? If you're going to be on Instagram, if you're going to play that game, then, you're so privileged to be able to have this phone right here to reach hundreds to thousands to millions of people, and it's kind of like, how dare you don't sit there and put your message out there or share like your knowledge, with people out there that are depending on your message daily to give them hope and to change their lives. So that's something I see. And excuses is just like, oh, I'm a perfectionist and like my content's not polished, but it's like, there's no such thing as A+ work, Steve. Like there's not, your clients want your B+ work to change their lives, and that's all you have to think about is, how do I get my B+ out there to change their lives? Stop thinking about the A+ work where it's polished and it's going to be video, like, video polished and all this stuff, you know what I mean? Just get it out there. So that's some of the stuff that I get frustrated at.
Oh, definitely. I think there's two great points there from both of you, to be honest. And I like what you said, Eric, with regards to like the coaches and investing in themselves and stuff like that, because I'd heard a great thing the other day, and it was like, if a coach doesn't have a coach, then he doesn't see the value in coaching, because there's always somebody that's playing a bigger game than you and stuff like that. And like you say, to put 25 grand into something, you can guarantee you work your arses off harder than that than you would have paid 100 quid or something like that. So it's massive. And then Chris, like you're saying as well, it's like something is better than nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you get it out there and you can work on it as you go. But if you've got all this up here and you're not delivering it to somebody, then it means nothing. And like you say, it could be just a random post that you put out, but that could really touch that person that you're trying to relate to. And when you're messaging clear again, it doesn't need to be that polished. It just needs to be to your avatar and really getting them honing in on your message. So
100%.
You're good for knowledge bombs. You'd be delivering knowledge bombs. So in the book, what you've got is you have a quote, and you always read your quotes out, and I love inspirational quotes and all that. And it kind of got me thinking about your podcast and all that kind of stuff. So who's kind of some of greatest people you've worked with or interviewed on your podcast?
Yeah, I would kind of go back to like if Eric can hit on like the podcast for us who we've worked with. I think there's 3 people that have really stood out. Like obviously Lane Norton has really made a huge impact on our lives. 5 years being mentored under him, man, like that was a huge blessing. It really was. So I'll be forever thankful for him for what he did for us, because that's what started all this, basically. The second person is, that Ty Lopez. We invested in his $25,000 mastermind. We were scared shitless, Steve. I remember we were there in Hollywood, like at this conference, and they were pitching a $25,000 mastermind. And Eric and I were sweating bullets, and we were on the phone with like multiple credit card companies trying to get that money. And we figured it out because we wanted to take action. We knew that was the next level. And that year of being in there, we learned so much to where it's irreplaceable. It really, really is. And then the third person is another mentor named Mark Lack. So he's a sales, marketing, and personal branding, expert. And the guy's brilliant. We've had some strategy calls where we paid a couple grand just to have those calls. And those 1-hour calls have literally saved us so much money and changed things, from perspectives that we just weren't seeing. And it's just, they're game changers. And that's why we're so big on mentorship,
Yeah. And then as far as like our podcast, I mean, we've been very privileged and very grateful to interview these huge name like people, and I always say as an interviewer, that's my time to selfishly just acquire knowledge and wisdom from those people. So that's why I'm very grateful for it. And I always am just I'm so tuned in and listening to these people, because all I need is one little nugget to just change the game. But I'll think of 2 people right now. So as Chris mentioned, Mark Lack, one of our mentors, he said one time that if people understood that there's no rules in the game of business, then they would just sit there and be able to, enjoy this journey more and be more creative. Because if you really think about it, Steve, there is no rules. There's not a rule book on business, on social media content, on marketing, advertising, personal branding. There really isn't. It's just about, people going back to the drawing board, being mad scientists, experimenting and testing things out and seeing what works and what didn't, and then just constantly being relentless and going back and tweaking things. Then the second person was John Lee Dumas. He has a successful podcast, Entrepreneur on Fire, and he said that every master was once a disaster. And that one just stuck with me just because it's so true. Like, you look at all these great, amazing, influential people, they were disasters at one point. Like, they did not wake up and just be like masters. They were not good at certain skill sets. Like, they had to put in constant sets and reps and get knocked down, but they kept getting back up, and they wanted to, perfect this skill. So for anyone that's listening, you might suck at something right now, but if you reframe your mindset to use that one word, that 2-word liner, not yet, that's going to help you out going forward, because we're not all good yet. But, if we sit there and commit to it and we put in the sets and reps, we can become very, very good at different skills.
Oh, great. I mean, that's it's amazing. And so many folk just think overnight success happens these days, and they just, it doesn't. Yeah. It's the endless hours you don't see that builds up to it and stuff like that. And that's why, obviously, it's great having you guys on my podcast, and try and raise the game and try and get some more guests on the podcast is going to be amazing. And I actually got a chance to meet Lane Norton myself. He
Nice.
came over and done a training day, and do you know what? There was, for one day that I met him, I was like, this guy is the business. I knew obviously a lot of him, but he just had so much time for everybody in the room, and he had a flight to catch, but he was still hanging around chatting to everybody, and he just, I think it was 2 days we were with him actually, and by the end of it, I was just like, well, that guy is the man. So like you say, if you worked with him for 5 years, I can only imagine the influence he had on you guys. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You got to meet him.
Yeah, and it was definitely one of the premier moments in the start of my journey and stuff like that. So
yeah. I'll tell you a funny little story really quick. When we used to work with Lane, like me and Chris were very, very annoying because we were just like so hungry for knowledge, and we wanted to get better and better to where we would just email this guy nonstop with question after question. And then at one point he said it in a respectful way how did he say it, Chris? Like, I can't remember exactly the words.
He was on his honeymoon, and he said, hey guys, like, look, I'm on my honeymoon. Can you guys like respectfully, like, let me have some time here? I'll get back to your questions. And like, I was just like, man, like I look back and I was like, what's wrong with this? This guy's trying to enjoy his honeymoon and we're bombarding him with questions,
Yeah, but ever since then, we've had a great relationship with him, and just nothing but respect. But I thought it was just funny.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. You should have just went there. Should have just bombarded his honeymoon and showed
Yeah.
really so, what's the future hold for Chris and Eric Martinez?
Yeah, Steve, I mean, geez, the future's bright, man. I'm just very optimistic considering any circumstance. Like I'm a true believer that, just we're the ultimate adaptation machines as humans, and it's really what you make of your situation. So you can wake up every day with a abundant mindset and just with gratitude and just be like, today's another day that I'm above ground. I'm breathing, I'm walking, like I have my brain. It's another day to get better. There's hope. So for me, it's just being consistent with what we're doing and staying focused on the bigger picture and just, serving all of our fitness pros. I really want to hit like over 100,000 fitness professionals, whether it's through our book or through our programs, to just have them just create bigger lifestyles for them and just think bigger and just understand that, that broken model of all this other stuff is just, they don't have to stick to that. There's other ways to be successful as fitness coaches, and for them to more importantly, just hold themselves to a higher valued place to where they just believe in themselves and they can start charging what they're worth and all that stuff. So yeah, besides that, man, just honestly, just continue on the podcast. I mean, after writing this book, we're a little burnt out, so I'm not sure like if we'll write another book for like several years, but yeah, just be able to get on more platforms like this and just, spread our word as well too. And then just continue to double down on our programs.
Yeah. And I would say, Steve, too, just embrace the unknown. One of our personal growth mentors, Philip McKernan, said that. He said, embrace the unknown. Stop trying to always create this crystal clear vision of like, here's the next step, the next step, the next step. Right. And I've learned to really adopt that, to where it's like, we don't know like what's going to go on the next like year and stuff. And I can't really plan for it. I know what we're going to do right now and today and tomorrow. And that's really it. But I'm going to embrace the unknown, and whatever comes our way, we're going to adapt to it and we'll figure it out. So hopefully that kind of helps the listeners out right now. If you guys don't have this crystal clear, perfect vision going forward step by step, it's okay. Just know what you're doing right now, get a little bit better tomorrow, the next day, the next week, and just embrace the unknown.
Yeah, definitely. It's that growth and stuff. It's that growth mindset, isn't it? And trying to get out of a fixed mindset and learning to be adaptable, because you never know when you look back on your hardships. I mean, they turn you into the person you were or you are today. So it's not nice at the time, but you wouldn't be who you are without them. So like you say, just embrace it and go with it. So it's amazing. And when's the trip to Scotland when you come to Scotland?
Hopefully next year. I keep saying, like, I keep watching documentaries. I see like so many beautiful places just like, outside of the States, like Europe and stuff. I'm just like, man, like I got to do it, and like I have so many places I want to visit, but I've heard so many great things about Scotland as well too, to where it's got to be done, whether it's in the next year or 2 years, but absolutely.
You definitely give me a shout, and you'll need to bring your rain jackets, obviously. But
oh yeah,
guys, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. The energy you've brought to the podcast has been phenomenal. The knowledge bombs have been amazing. Can you just give people a wee heads up as to where they can find more information about you?
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, thank you so much for having us on your time. We really appreciate it. So for those that want to get a copy of the book, we have the physical, we have a digital and audio. You can get those on Amazon, or you can go to riseofthefitpros.com. We have some good, like, bundles with it and just like free stuff that we give away there too. But other than that, visit us on Instagram at Chris and Eric Martinez. And then for fitness professionals, for your audience, we have a cool 7-step lead generation guide for your fit pros. If they want to go to dynamicfitpros.com/masterclass, they can go download that there.
Awesome, guys. So we'll stop the podcast there, guys. Thanks very much for listening. That is the first episode of Series 2 with Chris and Eric Martinez. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next podcast soon.
Right on.